Okay, we're going to get started. So thank you guys for joining me live, the ones who have, and thank you for watching later if you weren't able to join live. This is my class, Planning Your Way Through Grief, and I came up with this idea because this is something that has helped me so much and in so many areas of my life, and I was just so excited to finally have like a real tool to share besides the normal ones that we use, which are important, like talking and supporting each other. But this is kind of fun, and so I'll just go through. So you mostly know me, but there are some new people here. So my name is Karen Camerato, and I am a grief and life coach for women that have lost a child. The reason that I do this is because I have experienced the loss of a child. And so my story is the one of Nicholas. And I will tell you that my life has been separated into two parts: before the loss of Nicholas and after. And I know for you guys, it's probably the same. My son, he was 8 years old. He was my firstborn child. At the time, I had a 1-year-old daughter, and Nicholas was just everything to me. I've probably told you guys some of this already, but you know, he was probably too much for me. Like he was my everything. He was my best friend. He was the person that really truly taught me about unconditional love, and I know that you guys know that feeling. And so you know, one day I live in South Carolina, and it unexpectedly snowed in January of 1996, and it got very cold, and school was canceled. So we stayed home, and it was set to be like a beautiful day off, no work, no school, just have fun day. It was shortly after Christmas, so Nick had just gotten a hockey stick for Christmas that he wanted to play street hockey with, and he was excited, got up, got dressed, went outside, and I was just cuddled up at home with my daughter, Brooke, and the next thing I knew, I had a banging on my door, and it was a neighbor, boy, who told me that Nick fell in the pond. And I really didn't even know what he was talking about. I couldn't even think about a pond in our neighborhood. But, you know, he pointed, and I just took off running in my bare feet towards where I thought he was talking about, and sure enough, it was a small pond that was behind one of the homes in our neighborhood, and there was just, basically it was covered in ice, but there was a big black hole in the ice, and that was it. I saw some people gathered around the edge, and I just did not know what to do. I had no clue. Talking about regrets, you know, we all have regrets, and still, even after 24 years, there's regrets that I have about how I took action that day. But in any event, I just kind of stood there not knowing what to do, not really understanding where he was or what happened. And before very long, all kinds of rescue and helicopters and news and divers showed up. And the ending of that day was not a good one. One of Nick's friends had fallen in the pond, had been goofing around, you know, stomping around on the ice, and fell in. And Nick tried to give him a hand, and they both fell in. And I think it's because of how cold the water was, but it made it extremely difficult to swim. He knew how to swim, but in any event, both boys died that day. So, as you can imagine, it was a shock, and the first few months after, I can hardly remember. It's like a blur, and I think a lot of people feel that way, so I'm sure you can relate. But what I did early on, this is like, I guess your subconscious sort of taking over. These are the things that I did that I thought was helping. And, you know, in a way it did help me. I went back to work. I had to. I went back to work after 2 weeks. I had a job that paid the bills, and so I had to go, and I just didn't feel like I had a choice. I had Brooke. She was 1, so thank God. I know that there's many people that aren't as lucky as I am and have another child, which, you know, of course it's not a replacement, but she helped us. She helped us all because she gave us something to focus on, concentrate on, and it was happy, and she was fun and beautiful, and she didn't know the devastation that was going on in our lives, except for, you know, she was looking for Nick and she couldn't find him, but she didn't understand. And to this day, she still thinks that she remembers Nick and things that they did, but I really don't know if she can or if it's just us always talking about it. I went to see a therapist because someone told me that that's what I should do, and a therapist helped me. A therapist got me to a place where I was functioning. She gave me someone to tell my story to, and there was a period of probably maybe 9 months to a year where I just went to her and just talked about, you know, everything that I was feeling. And I just feel like talking it through really helped me. A lot of guilt, you know, just extreme sadness, just couldn't believe it, you know, just all of that. And so she did help me. She got me to a point. And then I also had another son, Colin. He was born about 1.5 years after Nicholas died. So then the end of what I look at as taking care of my grief, that's how I ended. I went into the mom life. And so I know you guys know what the mom life is. It's basically just every day after day, just taking care of what you've got to take care of. And, you know, when I say the mom life, I mean like 20 years of the mom life, almost 20. And I was just going through the motions. It was not a miserable life. I had my children. I love them. We had many good moments together. But I feel like it was all a distraction for dealing with Nicholas's loss and just not really remembering what like true joy felt like anymore. So I was just numb. I was very, very numb. And this went on for many years. And I'm happy to say that then something happened. My elixir. It's really corny. I always have to say it's corny because it sounds like a cliche, like, oh, just go take a Zumba class and, you know, everything will be better. And I never, ever want to portray it like that. But for me, when I went to a Zumba class, I felt something that I hadn't felt in a really long time. Just like, you know, that kind of joy without a cloud over it. And that's kind of, you know, I know as years go on and you lose a child, you know, you do have times where you're happy and, you know, you laugh and you learn how to do life. And as time goes on, it gets easier and easier to do that. But to me, there was like this shadow over it always, like, you know, 1 second later, you remember what you've lost. And so for that first class that I took in Zumba, that 1 hour, you know, and I was such a dork. Like, I cannot explain how bad I was. But it was just so, I don't know. It was just so much joy, so much of a release, so many endorphins flowing, the music, and just the people in there. The instructor was really, you know, full of life. And so I'll give you a little instruction. Here's what you might think a Zumba class looks like. This cracks me up. And then this is what it really looks like as far as I go. Okay, stop, lady. She should be done in a minute here. Oh no. Very sexy. And then here's me in my Zumba class. Just kind of nerdy, but smiles, you know? And so trust me, like, I'm not here right now to tell you, go take a Zumba class. Like, that's not the purpose of this class at all. But I just wanted to explain the thing that reminded me of what feeling good really, really felt like. Just personally, you know, my own thing, not surrounded by anybody else, you know, watching my daughter play softball or my son play baseball, nothing like that. It was just mine. So whenever that happened and I felt that feeling, it was like this memory that came back to me, and I was like, oh my God, I want more of that. And so what happened next was just like a total avalanche, diving into all areas of personal development. And I probably went overboard a little bit, but when you get that taste of feeling good, you know, and you find that little thing that helps, you know, you want more. And I'm here to tell you, for those of you that maybe haven't found that thing yet, that it's out there. And that if you haven't found it yet, or if you've tried some things and they didn't work, and a good example of this is like going to therapy. I mean, I hear so many people say that they went to therapy and the person was a jerk or didn't understand, had never lost a child, didn't act the way they, you know, wasn't helpful. And so they go to that first session and then they give up because they decide that therapy is not for them. When in reality, it's not maybe that therapy isn't for them. It was just that one mistake, that one thing that didn't work out. And so that's how it is with all these areas of personal development, all these things that I'm going to talk about. Everything's not for everybody, but you've got to try things in order to find out sometimes if it's for you or not for you. So when you're grieving and I mean, it's so much work. You know, you have to make yourself go and do these things sometimes that you don't want to at first, but you know that deep down there's something out there for you that's going to help. And so, you know, the message is really just that give it a chance. And then if the one thing you try isn't for you, go find another. You know, as grieving mothers, it becomes our job to figure out the rest of our lives without our children. And no, we don't want it. And I promise you that if I could trade all of this that I've done to have Nick back in my life, I would do it. But, you know, the problem is we can't. And so, don't know why I'm just talking from my heart to you, just to know that, you know, we can't. So we have to take control of this. We have to do the things that we know can help us. And so anyway, I dove into an avalanche of personal development. And I started, these are some of my favorites. And they just kind of got me on a roll. And now there's a big long list now, but books, these are the books I loved. Ula for Women, You Are a Badass, my absolute favorite book ever. It's not for grieving. These aren't grieving books. These are living books. And so if badass, like if the word is bad for you, just try to like bleep it out, because it's a powerful, powerful book with a powerful message. The 5-Second Rule, Miracle Morning, The Alchemist, and The Happiness Project, all very great books that got me started on this whole journey. And then some podcasts that I love, the Life Coach School podcast. This isn't for life coaches. It's basically a way to teach to be your own life coach. And there's so many of these podcasts. There's hundreds and hundreds. I mean, you can search for any topic you're dealing with and there's something. And the lady, her name is Brooke Castillo. She's amazing. I got into Learn, Do, Become Radio, Organized 365, Thinner Peace in Menopause, because yes, I am past menopause. So that was something that really helped me understand what was happening in my body and my hormones and all that, and why I couldn't lose weight. And then Happier, also a really good podcast. And I can make all of these available, names available, and actually a longer list for you guys afterwards if you're interested. But if you're not a book reader, you could be an audiobook listener. And that's how I do all these when I'm driving around in the car or when I'm going to bed or whatever. So those are amazing. And there's so many others. So there are some about grief. And so early on, you know, those may be the ones that you want to listen to, just learning how to deal with grief. Okay, so it sparked so many interests for me. I got out of control with all the things I became interested in. But here's the thing. I'm 55 years old. I started all this, you know, right before my 50th birthday, I'd say. And my children were grown. And I had time finally, for the first time in my life, to really focus on me. And so for those of you that your life is crazy because maybe you have smaller children or maybe you can't do this for other reasons, just remember, this is all part of taking care of yourself. This is all part of self-love. And again, some of these words, cliches, they sound so much like a cliche. Self-love, you know, but the thing is, it's true. It's true. You have to love yourself through this process. No, in regular life you do, but in this life where we've lost a child, if you don't find ways to give yourself love, you're doomed. I mean, that's just all I'm going to say. You're doomed to a life of, at the very best, numbness, and at the very worst, a lot worse. And I know you know what this feels like. So anyway, you can see all of the interests that I got, and there's so many more. I just, you know, every time someone talks about something, I'm just always like, ooh, I want to know about that. So I started doing meditation, and I do swear by this now. I cannot, if I don't meditate in the morning, I have a really crappy day. So that's my main one. I do EFT tapping. I love all kinds of coaching. I love learning about abundance and manifestation. I've learned about how important it is to control your mindset. RTT therapy is another one. So you're not going to, you know, maybe you don't know about all these things, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you the things that I found that I've never heard of or delved into at all before 5 years ago. I wanted to learn about being an entrepreneur, essential oils, morning routines, organization, and productivity. So those kinds of things just really got me excited. And so that leads to the point of this class, which is, the drum roll please, the wonderful world of planning. Now, I don't know if you guys know about this. Like, give me a little hand raise if you do know what I'm talking about as far as the world of planning. Like, is it just a planner? She's got one. She got a happy planner. Okay. Coley knows. All right. So this thing is a big deal. And so just a warning, it can become a little addictive, but it is a secret, but it's not so secret, society of people that are doing all kinds of amazing things with their planners, their paper planners. And I mean, if you're not a paper person, I've always loved paper, just paper anything. Like if you go to a store and they have cute stationery or cute paper, you know, I just always want to touch it and be near it. But I learned about I started learning about a happy planner. There was a group on Facebook called like Happy Planner Addicts or something. And there's like thousands and thousands of women in there, and they're doing all kinds of amazing things in their planners. They're keeping track of all kinds of things in their lives. Some people have multiple planners. There's all different sizes, different colors, different shapes. It's just a whole big thing. So here's a warning. This is like a public service announcement right here. If you don't want to listen anymore, like just click off, because it's dangerous. You can get a little addicted to the things that go along with this. So pens and stickers, and you see like somebody set up their little work area just for their planning. This was the bottom where she's got all her stuff laid out on the bed. That's like people post their hauls when they go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or what's the other one? One more. I'm losing it. The fabric store. Yes, Trina, totally can be dangerous, but you can start small. I'm going to tell you ways to start small. That's just a little pen holder. So many cute things. And, you know, like I said, this isn't for everyone, but aspects of this can. This was just the thing that got me going, you know, just all these pretty things. This is what got me excited about it. So here's mine. Okay, so now just keep in mind too, again, when I was younger, if I had smaller children, I would not do this. I probably wouldn't have time to do this, or I wouldn't have made time to do this. But now that I do, it's more than just like cutting and pasting and stickers and stuff. Like, this is me time. And this is a little bit of like an artistic thing for me. Now, like, I know this isn't, like, what you're looking at here is nothing compared to if you go on YouTube and you start Googling happy planners, or you know, searching for happy planners, or, you know, you go into Etsy, or, I mean, there's so much. There's so much. This is just my version. So this is my planner. Every Sunday, I just pick a little theme that I want to do for the coming week, and I decorate my planner. And I am not an artist. I cannot even draw stick figures. But for some reason, this makes me feel artistic, and it calms me down. It really makes me calm. As I'm, like, you can see, like, I filled in some, I couldn't even, like, take pictures quick enough because I gotta write all my stuff in there. So this was this week's before I really even started writing in it. But it's just, to me, when I get to go look at my appointments and I look at my things in my planner and keep up with things in my planner, it just makes me feel happy just to look at it. So I'm just gonna flip through some of them. You'll see all my dumb notes and all that stuff. There's my weight down there, guys. I'm keeping up with my weight, trying to lose weight. This must have been a busy day because I didn't have much time. I just threw a few stickers on July. Got really creative here. And you can see I wrote Nick's, I try to remember to write Nick's name somewhere on the page. And this is kind of part of what I'm going to be talking about. But you can see this is just fun stuff. Fun, fun, fun. Love it. So the reason I haven't talked about this before is because my dream is to create a planner just for us, just for grieving moms, that has, you know, areas that are just for us. And, you know, along with the regular life stuff. But guys, it's so confusing. When I started this whole thing 2 years ago, this was my first thing. I wanted to create a planner, and it's so complicated to try to figure out how to do this and put it all together. And so until I'm able to create my own planner, this is the next best thing, because I really didn't want to keep the benefits of some of this stuff that I do and that other people do from sharing it with you guys, because it can be helping you. I promise you that this can be helping you if you use it as a tool. So my dream, I love my dream, and it's gonna be a reality someday, I promise. This is this is it right here. So I made my own cover and made it out for my happy planner. But someday you'll see it. But until then, I'm going to encourage you to find a planner. There's a million kinds. There's a million, setups. There's big, there's small, there's everything. But if this interests you at all, and if it doesn't, that's cool. Maybe some of the concepts that I'm talking about, you can start thinking about as well. But to me, making a plan for doing something is always helpful. So what I want to use this planner for, and what I am asking you to think about doing, is to make a plan for living and for healing. Use your planner to help organize your life, and use your planner to remember and honor your child, and use your planner to create personal growth. So for life, this is just obvious ones. This is the things that regular people use their planners for, not psychos like me. Work, appointments, bills, groceries, meals, responsibilities, priorities, deadlines, events, special dates, your to-do list, your car and your house maintenance, school and virtual school. I added that at the end because I'm like, yeah, everybody is so dealing with this, many people. For grief, okay, for grief, if you've joined my group, you may already know that I have a planner page that I created. This was my best effort at trying to incorporate what I wanted in the planner that I wanted to make. And so this has some of the things that I'm talking about today. So in the group, I do a hashtag every day. And so that hashtag is designed to make you think. And some days it's not deep. It's silly. Some days it's about personal development. Some days it's about memories of your child. Some days it's just about regular life. So I say for grief, if you would keep up with my daily hashtag, that is a tool that you can use to deal through grief. Say their name, I skipped that one. So that's where I wrote Nick's name on the page. And I think, what if we just wrote their name down every week or every day, depending on what kind of a platform you choose for your planner. Just write his name somewhere or her name somewhere, just so you know that she's right there with you or he's right there with you all the time. We also do a daily quote in the group that is designed to go along with the hashtag. But before I started doing that in the group, I really did this every day when I got to work. This is before I quit my regular job. I picked a quote and wrote it down in my planner every day. And it was just based on how I was feeling that day. And so I would Google quote about sadness, whatever. And I would find one that felt right to me and I would write it down. And I did this every day and it just felt so good to do that. So I know quotes can seem very, everybody does quotes, but they're popular for a reason because they're words that can motivate us if they're right there in front of us. Another area on my planner page was taking action in memory of my child. And this is where we would make the statement, today I will, and then choose something that you were going to do in memory of your child. And by this, I do not mean you have to create a fundraiser or do anything big at all. I mean, today I'm going to take a shower in memory of my child. That's fine. Just taking action in memory of your child. And, some things, when I'm talking about some of these things, I know they're not easy, especially early on. It's not easy to try to make yourself do things that you know would help you. Today, I will take a walk in memory of my child. Today, I will visit with a friend. Today, I will listen to a podcast, whatever it is. If you can't somehow make it where you can do it for yourself, sometimes it helps to say that you're doing it for them. A mood and trigger tracker. And so on this, I just mean keeping track of your mood, and when it's not good, investigating what happened. What was the thing that really brought me down today? So that you can, number one, work through whatever that is. And number two, if it needs to be avoided some days, avoid it. Now, I'm not saying you can avoid everything. And then, we eventually have to feel our feelings. But I think that it's very valuable to be able to recognize the things that really bring us down. Gratitude, it's a huge thing. It was the thing that made so much difference for me, just remembering and reminding myself of, even though I've lost the most precious thing, I still have A, B, and C. And, for some people, it's probably not that easy. I know that I was so lucky. I had Brooke and then later Colin, but, you still, you're hopefully in a home, you're eating, you've got the birds singing, the airs, you're breathing air. Some days we got to go for the real basic stuff to find the gratitude in the day. But I promise you that in every day there is something to be grateful for, as unbelievable as that may feel to you, if your loss is very new. Memories, it's a great place to keep memories. And if you have memories pop up, like as you're at your desk or, whatever you're doing, you can create a place in your planner to record those memories. Because let me tell you, it's 24 years down the road for me. And I didn't do anything like that. I didn't write down any memories. And so it's really sad for me to tell you that my memory is very foggy around Nick. I have, certain ones that are big, but, just some of the day-to-day stuff, I can't remember, and it kills me. And I know that if I would have been recording some of those memories, that I would remember them. Even just the act of writing it down is going to make you remember. So that's a good one to keep up with. Birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, that would be something you'd keep up with in a regular planner. But for grief, we know that birthdays and anniversaries are special. Journaling. This is something many, many people in grief do. It's not for everyone, but if you haven't tried it, it can be a really great tool for helping you through your grief. Just journaling on different things that are bothering you or present for you on those days. Photos, you can keep photos in your planner. There's special pages and slidey things that you can put photos in without, destroying your photos. And then also, and this is a big one, setting aside some dedicated time for yourself to do your grieving or to do your remembering. Instead of just letting things constantly blindside you, making time for yourself. And I know, like, as moms, we don't do that enough, but in grief, it's very important. So I just want to show you in the planner, just so you maybe you can't conceive of how you would keep up with all of these things. Well, you probably don't want to keep up with all of these things, but maybe some of the things like journaling may seem, well, where am I going to journal on a page like this? But in a happy planner, which is disc bound, you can slide pages in and out. And so, like, for example, in this one, I've got extra pages in the back for notes and stuff. So, you can easily find the space to choose the things that you want to add at this time. And I'm not saying you have to do all of them, but there's going to be some things that resonate here that maybe you would find valuable. Okay, for growth, I got a little carried away, I know, but, and I have to be careful about talking about growth with people that are new to the grief journey, because I think like sometimes my excitement about being able to experience growth after grief turns some people off. And I never mean to do that. I honor your grief and where you're at in your grief. So please don't think I'm pushing you towards growth. It's gonna happen. I promise you, it's gonna happen naturally. But there comes a point where you're ready. You're ready to start exploring some of these things. And so I just wanted to put some suggestions out there, but just know I never want to push you. If where you are right now is in a place where you just need to honor and process your grief, that's fine. This can help you do that. Just ignore this stuff. Just file it away for later if this is just too much. But health and fitness these are all great things that maybe, some of them you may not are obvious, and then some of them maybe not so obvious. So I'll read through them really quick, but health and fitness, exercising, working out, water tracking, medications, vitamins, supplements, your weight, meal planning, food journal, measurements, steps, miles, heart rate, self-care. And then under personal development, developing routines, your reading list, podcasts, what you want to learn about, a devotional practice, inspiration, motivation, ideas, just any ideas that pop up, a place to have that. And then some out-of-the-box things. Keeping track of your habits, good or bad, your finances, your goals, movies and TV shows that you want to watch. I mean, that's kind of a big thing these days because, people are always talking about what's on Netflix, and, you just need a place to write those down so you remember when it's time to go watch TV. Your bucket list, your volunteer hours, your accomplishments, your plan for self-love, Bible verses, decorating, crafting projects, music, brain dump. You all know what a brain dump is, I'm sure. But it's just like some days when you wake up and you feel like you have so much, you can't even figure out what to work on first. You just can do a brain dump, just write it all down on a piece of paper. And it feels so much better to have it out. And then there it is to choose the things that are priorities and things that really aren't that big of a deal. You can doodle. I've seen people do doodle journals, orders and deliveries on Amazon, debt payoff, or your time of the month, if that applies to you. So that is kind of what I'm proposing as far as using a planner to help you with this part of your life, with all parts of your life. And so what I've developed is a program that's going to go in depth in these different areas of your life. And it's called One Day at a Time. And it's going to be a 4-week journey through a life with loss. And what I'm going to do is I created this just for our members of Friends in Grief and Growth, which is my membership group. So for them, this is free. So if you're already in the group, you're in and you will be experiencing this program. We're going to go through the basics of planners, and the first week, everyone will be choosing their planner and figuring out the types of things that, how they want to, what format works best for them and what's important to them. The second week, we're going to be talking about all the ways that we can honor our child through our planning. The third week, we'll be talking about health and fitness planning because, dude, it's just, there's so much. And I know everybody doesn't need to lose weight, but I know that everybody needs to care about their health. And especially, this is so important in grief because you don't take care of yourself. And it's so important that you do. And then week 4 will be planning for growth. So all those scary things that I talked about in growth. We're going to see what things resonate with you and what you investigate, what you would like to investigate for growth to start. What's going to be your little beginning of your avalanche. So it's going to include weekly live sessions, which will be recorded if you can't come to the live. Be just like this, except for we'll be talking to each other instead of so much me talking. We'll have a special community in Facebook where we will share, our, if we decorated our planner, we can share that. We can talk about different topics during this 4-week process. And I'm going to start on July 27th. And so again, if you're already in Friends in Grief and Growth, you are going to have this available to you. Friends in Grief and Growth is a monthly membership program. The way it started was just to have weekly support group meetings. This is the core of Friends in Grief and Growth, and this will always be an important part of it. And as the group grows, more meetings will become available. But right now, there's a meeting each week, and the schedule is all varied so that we can try to hopefully accommodate every person that is, everywhere in the world and whatever, work or schedule they have. So those are the most important. This is the biggest part and the reason that I started, because I knew that a support group was important. This is before COVID, just that everybody couldn't make it to an in-person support group. And the way our meetings work is you come if you want, and you don't have to come if you don't want. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to let me know if you're going to be there or not. There's 4 times a month right now. Hopefully it grows soon. And you just, when you want your support, you come. And, you put it in your planner, so you make sure you come. I'm also doing special interviews, and there's all different kinds of interviews that I'm doing. I'm interviewing other moms that have lost a child and how they've gotten through. Many of them are now coaches and like providing services that can help with grief. So they talk about what is their modality, what do they do, how can they help, how they received help. And then, some interviews have nothing to do with grief. Some interviews are about just being a woman and, what your body is like, or, going through menopause or whatever. Just all different topics for us because we're women. And then there's also fitness classes. There is 1 Zumba class, 1 Zumba Gold class, and 1 yoga class every week. And those can be done live, or they're also recorded and you can watch them on the recording. And then there's going to be free workshops, which this is kind of in line with that, this whole 1 day at a time. This is something that I've created for Friends in Grief and Growth. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that it's such an easy way to get extra support and, all kinds of things. So there's lots of resources. And what I'm adding new in August is 911 calls. So those are going to be available to everyone 3 times a year. So if you have a 911, you're having a horrible day, you need someone to talk to, I am a grief coach. I can help you. And so these 911 calls are designed so that you can reach out and I can hop on a call with you within 24 hours and, help you through whatever it is you're going through. So this is all included in what the membership is. My vision for this membership is bigger than what it is right now and what you can probably envision as well. But I want to create a movement where the courageous women who've lost a child come together to share both their grief and their growth. And I know that it's hundreds of women that can benefit from us being together as a unit. Every mom I've ever met who has lost a child has so much courage and has been through so much, but yet they get up every day and they do life. And I'm always constantly amazed and moved. And so my vision for this Friends in Grief and Growth group is way bigger than what you see here today. And so all I can say is that if you choose to join us and be in this group with us, you'll be in on a ground floor of something big. And whatever whenever you get in, you'll have the same price forever. So right now, this is the price. It's a year membership is $199, or a monthly payment plan of $19.99. So you're committing for 12 months. But the reason that I have decided that it needs to be a year membership is because, let's face it, grievers are kind of flaky. And don't take it the wrong way. Like, I'm not insulting you, I promise, because I'm flaky too. And I even went through this last week. 1 week, you are committed to feeling better. You're ready. You want to do something. You need support. You know you need support. You want to do it. And then the next week, you feel terrible. You want to crawl into a hole. You don't want anything to do with anyone. And so I want to make this a year, because I know that through a year, you're going to have both of those periods of time. And so hopefully you will be able to take advantage of the things that are available to you when you're feeling ready for it. And when you're not feeling ready for it, it's okay. It's okay. And, we are all in a Facebook group together, so we can all, definitely understand each other. So that is the proposal that I'm making to you today, is that I would love for you to join us in Friends in Grief and Growth. Right now, we have a group of about 15 women, and I'm just so ready to expand it so that we can expand the services and the support that's available. And that's really it. If you join before July 19th, which is this weekend, I think, I am going to create a laminated planner cover just for you, personalized with your child's name in the middle there. And once you get your planner, you just laminate it for you, and you can punch the holes depending on what kind of planner you have, or I can punch it for a happy planner because I have those. Or you can use it as like an insert in a notebook, like the kind that have a sleeve on the front. So if you join before then, I'm going to send you one of those. So in any event, even if you're not ready to commit to something like this, just know, I'm not here to try to sell you stuff. I promise. I hope that this class, these ideas, spark something in you and get you thinking. And if this isn't for you, that's okay. We still have my Facebook group, Rising Above, Hope for Moms That Have Lost a Child. If you're not a member of that yet, you need to be. And at least you will get this planner page that you can keep up with, and the daily prompts and just the daily discussions. It's an amazing group of women, so supportive, and just a really core group of, badass is the only word I can think of, but I'm sorry if you don't like that swear word. Anyway, so that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and let's see if I can unmute everybody at the same time. Unmute yourself so I can at least say hi to you. Joanne's, that was it. Oh, see, I should have looked at these messages sooner. Anyway, anybody have any comments or questions or anything?
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Crystal.
I thought it was great.
Thank you so much.
And you gave me lots of good ideas.
Yeah?
It did. It gave me lots of good ideas.
Good.
Thank you, Karen. This is Jan.
Oh, hey, Jan. There's your face.
Oh, but she's muted.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, she's
thank
100%
you.
now.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you joined. You're all pretty and you got your lipstick on.
Well, hey, That is one thing. I don't go out or do anything without lipstick. I've probably eaten a million miles of lipstick, but I'm
Funny. Me too.
kind of ghostly if I don't. But thank you so very much. What I do, I'm a planner. I had a home-based transcription service, a medical transcription service. So the only way that I could do that is to plan. But I also do junk journaling, or I make books, and so I get real carried away. I'm an artist, so they get real out of control. But
It's
planners,
addictive.
planners are addictive, and I love paper.
Me
I'm a paper
too.
freak.
Hey, so post some pictures in the group of your junk journals. I want to see what those
Okay.
look like.
Okay, all righty. I just donated one to Family Service and Guidance Center for their auction. Hopefully it'll bring them some money. But
I shouldn't see. This is like I shouldn't be hearing this right now.
It's fun. It's fun. So
Does anybody else do this? Anybody else already know about this, or?
I've been a happy
Oh.
planner since its conception 5 years ago. And
Wow, you
can
beat
see-
me. Yes.
awesomeness.
And then I do the mood tracking each month, and I create a different mood tracker each month to match like the month theme. So this month I did flip-flops. I don't know if you can see on the chart.
Yes. Oh, how cute.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, with the eclipse, the full moons, all of the planetary alignment. Oh my gosh, it's like
God. Yeah, I need to put
emotionally we're everywhere, all over the charts. The energy.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. So Coley, do you find it helps you? How long has it been for you?
My son died in September.
So has it been a tool? Has it helped you? Is it a distraction or just a calming thing?
Well, at first, my son had severe disabilities, and so I used my planner to track all his appointments and nurses coming in the house and all that kind of stuff. And so at first I wanted to just get rid of all my planning stuff, but I've been doing it for so long. My best friend encouraged me to just give it a little bit of time. And so then I started just writing three things a day I needed to do. And even if it was just like brush my hair. And then it just kind of snowballed, and it was like 4 things a day, 5 things a day. And now it's become really helpful. Like I track taking my medication. I have a gratitude tracker in here. I have a memory tracker where I just write down little things I think about Noah. So it's really, really helped me just grieve. And I do journal, but I don't journal in here because the journaling is too much to put in here. Like this thing is really fat, and I already have it on a standard desk, so I can't really add much more in here.
I'm so glad you were in this, because you're proof that it can help.
Yeah.
And
really,
that just makes my heart like sing, because it's like it's true. It's really true. It really helps, for the person that resonates with, and some people it won't, but
yeah.
I just love that. Thank you so much for being in here today. You that just gives it so much more. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this. I kind of thought it was going to be planner related, so I was really excited.
Yeah, I was I was being real tricky on that.
You
But
were.
I just
Didn't have a clue.
Well, I love you. I mean, when I say I love you guys, like I mean it. Like I swear, I just cannot. Every day I go into that group and I see people saying things, and I love you, because you are just there and you just keep going. It's amazing. How do you do it? That's what I want to know. But I know how you do it, because you have no choice, but you're making it as best as you can. And so right now I'm going to, I thought I was going to, but I just made that disappear, so maybe not. Here's my, here we go. I'm gonna put links to the stuff just right here. This is to purchase the to get into the Friends in Grief and Growth group, but this will only be up for a minute more until we leave. So I will also post it in the group, and just know that I am here for you guys no matter what you need, and I just love you. And anybody, any more comments or questions or anything?
I read your hashtag every day and your quote, and they're always, even though I'm a fairly new griever, less than a year, 11 months, I read them, I think about them. I was an avid journaler, totally. In fact, I told my cousin, if anything happens to me, you go straightway to the wardrobe and burn all those journals because I did the brain dump. I did the Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, the 15 minutes every day.
Oh, yeah.
For years. And I can't tell you how much that helped me. So,
well, it's very obvious. You're a very gifted writer. I mean, your comments are always, and your posts and everything, they're just always so deep. So if y'all ever look for Jan, how do you say your last name?
Well, my maiden name was Turntine, Turntine. So it's Turntine -Ash. I got a short married name.
Yes. So
thank you.
I just thank you guys so much, and I appreciate you for hanging in there. How long did it take? An hour time. Oh, a little over an hour. Okay. Got to wrap it up because I didn't want to take too much of your time. But thank you. Love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.